Hi, I'm Leah from Arts Ribbon, and today we're going to make some wreaths. What you need for a basic wreath making, this is Wreath Making 101. There are three things that you need. You need a wreath base. And our bases that we're going to use are pre-made wreaths that I purchased at a craft store. This is the honeysuckle wreath, and I have some grapevine wreaths. So you need your base. You then need your materials. Find things you love. If you love the items, they'll look fabulous on your wreath. You can buy things from a craft store, flowers, you can get all your Arts ribbons, you can get shells, buttons, whatever you like. You can also go on nature hunts around your neighborhood, on nature walks, and find objects around. Things I'm using, bought at a craft store. You need your base, your materials, and the last thing you need something to adhere your materials to your wreath. I'm going to use my ribbons to tie and to knot things to my wreaths, and I'm also going to use a glue gun. That's it. I'm not investing in the wires and the sticks and all sorts of other things that you can buy for wreath making, because we're talking simple here, basic wreath making. Now, let's get started. I'm going to start with a small wreath. This was 79 cents at the craft store. Great. I have found out where I wanted the top of my wreath, tied some ribbon to the back. This ribbon I am using is pretty amazing. This is a satin ruffle two-tone ribbon with elastic inside, and it's antique golden brown. All I'm doing is taking this ribbon and twining it around my wreath. Now right in it kind of blends, the brown kind of blends in, but I will show pictures of my wreaths. So I just twine it around, and I'm going to tie it in a knot, and I have the first step of my wreath completed. Now this is going to be a very simple little wreath. I am then taking my flowers and my wire cutters. Now I've just found wire cutters in our basement. I didn't go out and buy something special, but I've got wire cutters, and I cut off a piece of my flower, and this is what I'm going to use as the stem, the actual flower, as not buying something extra. I take my flower, figure out where I want it to go, and what I'm going to do for mine is I am just going to have it attached to the side of my wreath. Now what I do is I stick the flower stem inside my grapevine wreath, and it can twist around, and you can tuck it in. You can glue this, you can cut it any way you want. I'm going to adhere it with this solid ribbon. This is also an antique gold. This it has a stitched center, and I am just wrapping this around my flower. You can I'm going to tie it in a knot. You can tie it in a bow. You can continue to add lots of this around your wreath and cover the whole thing, or you can just have one little, tie a bow on the top, and you've got a wreath. The medium wreath that we are going to make, I was inspired by one of my favorite of all favorites. This is a black crocheted ribbon at Arts. I love this ribbon. It is just wonderful. It's a beautiful crocheted ribbon. And Halloween, we're gonna go a little goth with our wreath, I guess. I'm taking my sheer velvet ribbon, looping it in half, taking a honeysuckle wreath. I am going to put my ends and pull, and this is the way I'm going to be able to attach my wreath. And then I'm going to take some of my crochet, tuck it in my grapevine, and you can hot glue as you want, sew it on however you want to adhere it. I'm going to wrap around my black crochet ribbon, around my honeysuckle wreath. I know this can get messy, so work on a surface that you can easily clean. Then have this really fun black flower. I only have my ribbon scissors. I cannot cut paper with my ribbon scissors. That is a rule I recommend. Everyone get a pair of ribbon scissors. Don't cut anything else with them. I've ruined many scissors by cutting anything and everything. So I'm going to take my flower and I'm going to again do the exact same thing I did last time. I am just going to put it on the side of my wreath. Get my wire cutters. You can trim the bottom part of your stem. You can stick it in your wreath as well. I'm going to attach my flower with this wired string. This string is amazing. It comes in all sorts of different colors and can be used for so many things. I'm going to attach my flower with this by wrapping it around. Put this with a needle and it's your thread. It's amazing wire string. Then you can do a little floofing with your flowers. I found a fall bird at the craft store. I'm going to attach my bird to my wreath. It has a little clip on the bottom. And I have my second wreath. For my third wreath, I went for the large grapevine. I used a woven burlap string in burgundy and olive. This string has a wire and it's just a really nice, adds a really nice texture, easy to work with. I wrapped my wreath with that. I then used a 3/8 inch solid two-tone in copper and wrapped around the whole wreath. Then took a flower sprig from the craft store, cut it apart, and just poked it right in my wreath. Used some hot glue. I then attached with hot glue a few buckeyes, some pine cones. These little fake berries were on the wreath, and now I bought some fairly inexpensive flowers. If your berries ever get knocked around and a little bit of the white styrofoam shows through, get a permanent marker and you can cover up the spots and it blends in really nicely. That's just a little tip. Then have a larger two-tone ribbon, and I am just tying this in knots a few different places. I'm taking my ribbon, tying it actually like the beginning of tying your shoe. Just looped it over once, and that's all I'm doing. Trim my edges, the diagonal, and I have attached my ribbons, and I just did that throughout my wreath. And I made a wreath. Wreath making 101. Thanks for watching, and look at the May Arts blog every Monday for new ideas.